The sound of glass shattering echoed through the living room. Ethan stood frozen, whiskey dripping from his hand, eyes locked on Emily's face. She had thrown the tumbler hard, and it lay in glittering pieces near his shoes. Her chest rose and fell like she'd run miles. "Tell me the truth," she said. Her voice wasn't loud, but it cut through the air like a blade. He didn't answer. "Who is she, Ethan?" Outside, thunder rolled across the night. Inside, his silence said everything. Hours earlier, the day had begun like any other. Emily woke before him, sunlight crawling across the white sheets. She reached for his side of the bed, empty, cold. Again. Downstairs, a note waited on the counter. "Early meeting. Don't wait up." She sighed, placed it beside the small breakfast she'd made and never shared, and sat alone at the table. The house was too quiet. The kind of quiet that starts to feel like punishment. Across town, Ethan wasn't at a meeting. He was sitting in a corner booth at a dimly lit restaurant, his tie loosened, his phone face down. Vanessa laughed across from him, touching her hair, her smile lingering too long. "Relax," she said. "You look like someone's watching." "Maybe they are," he muttered. Her hand brushed his. He didn't pull away. A waiter approached with another bottle of wine. Vanessa poured for both of them, eyes locked on his. "This feels wrong," Ethan whispered. She smiled faintly. "Then why does it feel good?" That evening, Emily decided to surprise him. She packed his favorite meal into a small container, tied her hair back, and drove through the city traffic toward his office. The receptionist recognized her and waved her in. The moment she opened the door, the air changed. Vanessa sat perched on Ethan's desk, laughing at something he'd just said. Their closeness was wrong, too casual, too familiar. Emily stopped in the doorway. "Oh, I didn't know you had company." Vanessa slid off the desk quickly. "Just dropping off some documents." Her tone was light, but her eyes darted between them. Ethan stood, voice a beat too late. "Yeah, just work stuff." Emily placed the lunch on the table. "I thought you might be hungry." "Thanks," he said, avoiding her gaze. She turned to leave. Vanessa smiled tightly. "See you tonight, Ethan." Emily froze. "Tonight?" Vanessa hesitated, then recovered. "Right, the client dinner?" "Right," Ethan added quickly. "I forgot to mention." Emily nodded once, expression unreadable. "Have a good night." She walked out without looking back. That night she sat on the couch, staring at the door. The food grew cold again. Midnight came and went. At 2:15 a.m., the sound of keys finally broke the silence. Ethan stepped in, tired, unsteady. "You're still up?" he asked softly. She didn't look away from the blank TV screen. "Couldn't sleep." He loosened his tie, setting his jacket down. "Don't do that," she said. "Do what?" "Pretend everything's fine." He sighed. "Emily, I'm exhausted. Can we not?" "You smell like her." His jaw tightened. "You're imagining things." "Am I?" He looked at her then, guilt flickering for just a second before he turned away. "I'm going to bed." She stayed on the couch until dawn. The next morning she met Noah at a coffee shop. He was Ethan's best friend, his business partner, and one of the few people who still asked how she was doing. "You look pale," he said. "Just tired." "Ethan's been different lately." She met his eyes sharply. "You noticed too." Noah hesitated. "He's under a lot of pressure. The new contracts. Don't make excuses for him." He exhaled. "You think there's someone else?" Emily stirred her coffee slowly. "I think I don't want to know." Noah's hand brushed hers gently. "Whatever it is, you don't deserve this." She looked away, blinking fast. "Thank you." That night, Emily tried calling Ethan. Straight to voicemail. She texted. No reply. Hours passed. Something in her chest said drive. The city lights blurred as she sped through wet streets, headlights slicing the rain. At his office, the parking lot was nearly empty, except for his car and another she recognized. Vanessa's. She walked through the front doors, her heart hammering against her ribs. Music floated faintly from the upstairs floor. Each step felt heavier than the last. The hallway light flickered as she reached the door. It was slightly open. Through the glass, she saw Ethan's hands on Vanessa's waist. Saw her lean in. Saw everything. Emily didn't move. Didn't breathe. Then she turned, walked away, and never looked back. Her keys trembled in her hand as she reached the car. The rain had started again, pounding against the windshield. She gripped the steering wheel and let out a sound that was half sob, half scream. The next morning, Ethan came home to silence. The house was spotless, but something about the air felt wrong. On the dining table sat a small note in her handwriting. I hope she was worth it. He read it twice before it hit him. He ran upstairs. Her closet was half empty. Her toothbrush gone. For the first time he felt fear. Not of losing her, but of what he'd done to himself. Days turned into weeks. Ethan tried calling, no response. Tried showing up at her sister's apartment. No one opened the door. At work, things began to crumble. Clients pulled out. Rumors spread. Vanessa's name came up more than once in whispers he didn't want to hear. When Noah confronted him, Ethan barely looked up from his desk. You ruined everything, Noah said quietly. Ethan laughed once, bitter. Not everything. Noah stepped closer. You think she'll stay with you after this? She used you. Ethan's expression cracked. What are you talking about? Noah dropped a folder on the desk. Inside, bank transfers, documents, forged signatures. Vanessa's. Ethan's stomach turned cold. No, that can't. She's been stealing from the company for months, Noah said. You were too busy playing house to notice. The room tilted. Ethan's hands shook as he reached for the papers. Where is she? Gone, Noah said. And if you don't handle this, you'll be next. Ethan sank into his chair, staring at the empty doorway long after Noah left. That night he drank alone. The office lights burned harsh and white. He stared at the note Emily had left, now crumpled in his pocket. The sound of glass shattering pulled him back to the present. His own hand had knocked over the bottle. And then, behind him, a voice he hadn't heard in weeks. Is this what's left of you? He turned. Emily stood at the doorway. Her eyes were dry, her face unreadable. He opened his mouth, but no words came. The silence stretched between them, heavy, suffocating, almost holy. Ethan's lips parted, but nothing came out. He looked smaller than she remembered, hollowed out by guilt and sleepless nights. The man who once filled the room now looked like a shadow of himself. Emily stepped in, her heels echoing against the cold marble floor. Her voice, when it came, was steady. Is this what she made of you? Ethan swallowed hard. Don't, he whispered. Don't do this. I have to, she said. Because you already did. The whiskey on the floor crept toward her shoes, spreading like a quiet stain. He noticed, and it made him flinch, as if her nearness burned. I didn't mean for any of it to happen, he said finally. I thought I was missing something. I thought I needed more. Emily's eyes shimmered, but no tears fell. And did she give it to you? More? He shook his head slowly. No. She took everything. The words broke from him like confession. He told her about Vanessa. The stolen money. The betrayal. The empty office. The investors who walked away. Every truth spilled out, jagged and raw. Emily listened in silence, arms crossed, expression unreadable. When he finished, she said softly, You think losing me was punishment. But this, she gestured around the empty room, the shards on the floor, this is what you did to yourself. He closed his eyes. You're right. Then why am I here, Ethan? He looked up, desperate. Because I needed you to see it. To see what's left. She took a step closer. I already did. The night I walked away. Her voice trembled then just slightly, the first crack in her calm. Ethan reached for her hand, but she pulled back. Don't. He froze. I came here, she said, her voice shaking now, because Noah called. He said you hadn't been to work in days. I thought maybe, she stopped herself, took a shaky breath, maybe I'd find a man trying to make things right. Not drowning in a bottle. He looked down, ashamed. Emily, he started. Do you even know what you want anymore? He opened his mouth to answer, then stopped. The truth was he didn't. He'd chased attention, validation, control, and lost the only person who gave him peace. The clock ticked again, a cruel reminder of everything that had passed between them. Finally she whispered, I used to believe you loved me. I did, he said quickly. I still do. She looked at him, eyes soft but sad. Then why did it hurt so much? He didn't have an answer. Outside, thunder rolled again, same as the night everything fell apart. She turned toward the door. Goodbye, Ethan. But before she could leave, he said quietly, Emily, please, just tell me one thing. Is there any part of you that can forgive me? She hesitated, her hand still on the doorknob. Forgiveness isn't the same as coming back. He nodded, tears forming. I know. She turned, looked at him one last time, the man who once was her home. Then maybe someday when you forgive yourself you'll understand what you really lost. She walked out, her footsteps fading down the hall. Weeks later. The camera drifts through the office, sunlight now pouring in through clean windows. The whiskey bottles are gone. Files are stacked neatly. There's life again, quiet but persistent. Ethan sits at his desk, hair trimmed, eyes clearer. A newspaper lies open. CEO faces recovery after scandal. Noah walks in. You're early, he says. Trying to be, Ethan replies with a faint smile. There's a silence, then Noah says, You heard from her? Ethan shakes his head. No. You going to? Not yet. Noah studies him. She cared about you. I know, Ethan says softly. And that's exactly why I'm not calling her. Montage. Ethan rebuilding. Meetings. Workouts. Late nights staring out city windows. Each frame showing a man learning how to live with consequence. No grand gestures. No apologies rehearsed. Just quiet effort. Then, a coffee shop. Emily sits near the window, typing on her laptop. The morning light catches her hair. She looks peaceful. Across the street, Ethan stops mid-stride. He hadn't expected to see her. For a moment he just stands there, hand on the glass door, watching. She looks up, their eyes meet. No words. No smile. Just understanding. She closes her laptop, stands and walks past him toward the street. As she does, she pauses briefly. Take care, Ethan, she says softly. He nods. You too. She walks away, no drama, no lingering glance, just quiet closure. Later that night, Ethan stands on his balcony, city lights flickering below. The air is calm, the storm long gone. He exhales slowly, watching the night stretch out before him. He's alone, but for the first time he isn't running from it. Sometimes losing everything isn't the end. It's the silence after the chaos that teaches us who we really are. Ethan learned that love can't survive without truth, and truth can't exist without loss. But the question that still lingers. When love breaks you, do you rebuild for someone else, or for yourself? What would you do if you were Emily? Would you forgive, or walk away forever? If this story whispered something to your heart, hit subscribe and turn on the bell for more. Drop a comment below, your voice matters here. Whispered Stories, where every whisper tells a story.